The drama surrounding Gervonta Tank Davis and Jake Paul has quickly evolved into one of the most polarizing spectacles in boxing. What began as a simple exhibition announcement has transformed into a clash of ideologies, a collision between old-school combat sports discipline and the modern influencer era of entertainment. Davis, long revered as a pound-for-pound talent with dynamite in both hands, steps into the ring against Jake Paul, a YouTuber-turned-fighter who has made a fortune turning spectacle into sport. Yet beneath all the hype, this fight feels bigger than the fighters themselves. It's about what boxing has become and what it's still fighting to remain. When Davis appeared at the first press conference, fans were stunned by his bulked-up, chiseled frame. He looked nothing like the lightweight champion they were used to seeing. Analysts estimated he could weigh close to 160 pounds by fight night, far heavier than his usual fighting weight of 135. But every punch thrown in training told the story of a fighter who knew exactly what he was doing. Tank was chopping at the body, digging into imaginary ribs, preparing to break down a much larger opponent the only way a smaller man can, with precision and pressure. Experts pointed out that trying to trade headshots with Jake Paul, who enjoys a considerable reach and height advantage, would be foolish. The key, they said, was in attacking Paul's core, slowing him down, forcing him to drop his hands, and drowning him in later rounds when fatigue sets in. Shawn Porter, a former world champion known for his grit and honesty, called Tank a dog in the ring, a fighter who embodies pure determination. Porter's praise wasn't casual. It came from experience. He knows that Davis doesn't just fight with skill, he fights with a kind of hunger that can't be trained. Porter noted that Tank has something many modern fighters lack, the ability to assess, adapt, and execute under fire. To him, Tank isn't just powerful. He's intelligent, patient, and deadly precise. When he targets the body, it's not guesswork, it's strategy. Meanwhile, boxing commentators like Showbiz the Adult have tried to dispel one of the biggest misconceptions about Davis, that he's small. Showbiz revealed that Davis walks around at 160 pounds naturally, far from the scrawny lightweight image fans have in mind. Compact and muscular, he's built like a tank, literally. His power doesn't come from size alone, but from how efficiently he generates force. He's the kind of fighter who can make a punch from a short distance feel like a car crash. That's why even when facing taller men, he still finds ways to land the knockout. But this fight with Jake Paul has raised eyebrows, not because of the matchup's entertainment value, but because of what it represents. Clarissa Shields, one of the most respected female boxers in the sport, voiced frustration at Tank's talk of retiring after the Paul fight. She argued that a fighter of his caliber shouldn't walk away without facing names like Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez, true challenges that could define his legacy. Critics echoed her sentiment, suggesting that fighting Jake Paul, a celebrity boxer, is beneath someone with Davis's pedigree. To them, it feels like chasing money instead of glory. However, others see it differently. For Davis, this fight is more personal than promotional. Leonard Ellerbay, his longtime advisor, explained that Tank has faced deep emotional and mental struggles behind the scenes, battles that made him lose motivation at times. During one camp, Ellerbay admitted, Davis couldn't even get himself up for the fight with Lamont Roach because his mind wasn't in the right place. Tank has endured legal troubles, family issues, and relentless criticism. To some, this fight is his reset button, a way to reclaim focus on his own terms rather than the industry's. In a revealing interview, Davis once said that boxing wasn't originally about legacy for him, it was survival. He grew up in poverty, surrounded by danger and hardship. Boxing was his escape route, his way to secure a better life for himself and those he loved. That mindset never left him. Even now, when he has money, fame, and world titles, he still trains like someone trying to get out. That's what makes him dangerous. His fight isn't with opponents in the ring. It's with the life he refuses to return to. Yet the idea of him fighting Jake Paul, a YouTuber turned millionaire, doesn't sit well with purists. Daniel Cormier, a respected voice in combat sports, didn't mince words when he called the matchup embarrassing. He questioned how such a fight was allowed to happen, given the vast difference in size and experience. Paul has been fighting near 200 pounds, while Tank has made his career at 135. Cormier warned that allowing such mismatches could undermine the sport's integrity, turning it into theater rather than competition. He compared it to a circus act designed to sell views instead of showcasing skill. Even during the press conference, the imbalance was clear. Jake Paul towered over Davis, mocking him, playing the villain, and leaning into his persona as the social media provocateur. Davis seemed less amused, more annoyed, a professional forced to play a game he didn't invent. He admitted confusion about the fight's weight limit, thinking it was 190 pounds when it was actually 195. That moment, replayed endlessly online, became fuel for critics who said the event had lost all seriousness. Still, some like UFC President Dana White see a silver lining. While White said the fight itself doesn't excite him as a competition, he acknowledged it could be a massive career move for Davis. Jake Paul's global reach ensures that millions of casual viewers, people who may have never watched a Gervonta Davis fight, will be tuning in. The exposure alone could push Tank into a new level of mainstream recognition. And with a rumored $200 million payout, few can blame him for taking the opportunity. As long as Davis returns to real boxing after this, White argued, the move makes sense from a business standpoint. Behind the money and the noise, however, lies a strange truth. This fight isn't just about Gervonta Davis proving himself against Jake Paul, it's about what boxing has become, a sport at war with its own identity. For decades, boxing was built on legacy, discipline, and hierarchy.